What's going on, guys? It's Cliffy here. Today we are playing in probably New Zealand Rugby's biggest, or just New Zealand in general, biggest rivalry. Canterbury versus Auckland. It doesn't get too much bigger than this, and we're coming in live from round 8 of the Super Rugby competition, and a win here really to keep both teams in with a shot of taking on taking out, I should say, the Hurricanes in top spot. And it's this man again, who we have been talking about time and time again lately, Izzy Dag, with another try. It's amazing how many tries this guy scores in a season. He is just absolutely ripping it up for us out on the right wing. That's where majority of our play does go. Do feel a little bit sorry for Nemani Nandolo because, you know, he's sitting out there on the left wing. Don't really use him as such. He's more of a guy who's just there. Everything really played down that right wing side, but it has been very, very successful for us in the season to date so far. So the Crusaders take a very early lead against the Blues, and as I was saying, a win here today, the middle of the table in the New Zealand Conference in the Super Rugby Championship is very close, so it is very, very even towards the middle. As I've said, I think it's either the Hurricanes or the Highlanders. I'm not 100% sure who's on top. They're quite far ahead of everyone else. So really, a win here today for either team is going to be absolutely crucial. You know, still early on in the season. Obviously, we are only through 8 rounds. But it is nice just to get those points on the board and obviously not be playing catch-up rugby towards the end of the season when we're looking for a playoff spot. So we just need to continue doing what we've been doing, which has been obviously solid on defence. Defence has been the thing that has really helped us out this season to date so far. It has been the difference really between the teams that we have been not allowing teams whatsoever basically to score points. So I was going to say, surely that player is in an offside position big time. And we are going to come back eventually for the penalty. It did take a wee while, but I think that is Tony Woodcock, who was in an offside position from the kick. And that's a real pain, actually, because Nemani Nandolo, he was away. He was going to absolutely scream through, I reckon, and just look to take that in. So we're going to play this, going to actually bounce it inside the field of play, but for some reason, players not back on the touchline for the Blues, and that's a good kick finder from DC. Takes us down in takes us in, I wasn't going to say towards, but takes us in to the 22 of the Blues, and gives us a good attacking opportunity here to try and get something going. And don't tell me again it's going to be that man. I was going to say Israel Dag. The guy's on fire. You can't stop him, but he has been bundled over into touch by some good defence by the Blues. So they survive here. But still, the early running very much all the way of the Crusaders in this first half. And that's what we're going to look to continue to try and do throughout this game. So the Blues aren't playing very well. They can't actually get out of, of their own half. And we're just continuing to dominate both territory and possession in these opening 23 minutes. And that has really gone a long way to helping us. I was going to say, I thought we may have had an overlap. Finally, we get the big man involved that we were talking about earlier, Nemani Nandolo. As we said, not much really going down his wing whatsoever in the game. And that does make it difficult to... You know, he's such a big force. You know, when he played for the Crusaders, he was one of those guys, a real wrecking ball, could just go and punch through holes. I can't remember how many tries he scored for the Crusaders in his 2-year stint that he had at the franchise. But very, very successful. Obviously a crowd favourite, and very sad to see him go. But I think he's gone back. I think he was playing before he came to our 2nd division in England or France. Possibly, so I think he's gone back to either England or France, one of the two, and I'm not too sure who that is running that up, but what a great run that was from the number 6 to go and get things going. Now, well, I do still have time. We do have Mitre Cup coverage left to come in this game, and is this Israel Dag again? The man is an absolute freak! And he's gone and scored himself his 2nd try of the game, Crusaders' 2nd try as well. It's all him. He is an absolute machine. He started that from his own 10-metre line and has just gone grubbered through and put the Crusaders out to a 12-0 lead with the kick left to come. Now, what I was saying, there is still Mitre 10 Cup coverage that is going to be coming your guys' way in the second half. A lot of games to talk about. Only 3 rounds in, but we can already see obviously some early leaders for you know, both champions or top place getters, shall we say, in both the championship and the premiership. So that is going to be something that we are going to discuss come the second half. A few games, I think off the top of my head, about 8 or 9. So a couple of teams playing double headers, which is what does happen in the competition. Obviously, it is played for those who don't know. I think we play it. We may even have a Wednesday game. I'm not 100% sure. I definitely know in World Cup years, or when the World Cup was here in New Zealand, I think in 2011, is that basically, I think we had rugby 5 days a week, or it may have even been 6 some weeks, but now I think it has gone down just to the, I think it's gone back to 4. So I think we play 4 days a week. I think we play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're just going to run this one into touch as we get to the halftime break, and the Crusaders up, they're pumped, up 14-0. As we can see, possession pretty even, but the territory, a lot of it being played in the Crusaders' half of the field, which is very true. I mean, a lot of it has been down our end. We haven't really been punching to get up over the halfway line, but when we have not been in the Blues half for very long. It has been a bit of a, I wouldn't say hit and miss, but it's been counter-attacking from our own half of the field, and we have gone and made it pretty easy. Speaking of pretty easy, this game for Izzy Dag at the moment is a absolute walk in the park. He could have possibly had his 3rd try, could have had his hat-trick there, had he gone and not been taken out. But it doesn't matter, because Fruin's going to score his first, the Crusaders' 3rd, and all of a sudden this is proving to be an absolute walk in the park for the men in red and black. Against the Blues so far here today. But anyway, let's get into this Mitre 10 Cup coverage, because otherwise we are going to run out of time. I've got it written down here on my little card, which you guys can't see, but it is just my little helper, my little aid to go and get us through. So we're going to start off first with the first game of the, I want to say weekend, but it's not the weekend. I think this game was played on Thursday night. Possibly even earlier than that, I'm not 100% sure. But it was played between championship frontrunners at this stage, Otago, taking on Northland, the Taniwhas, who they had a double header as well. So both these teams playing double headers over the weekend, and it was slightly successful, I guess, for one rather than the other. So Otago, they were the winners there. As I said, front runners in the championship at the moment. We will get to that towards the end of you know, I guess this little chat, but they ran out 32-28 winners, so another very close game, which is something that we have kind of come to expect from the Mitre 10 or ITM Cup, as it has been known in previous years. High scoring games, but close games. So, and I think that's the best to go. There's an error from Joe Moody, gets the pass away, but it is going to be a scrum to the Blues, just outside, well, probably more towards the 10-metre line rather than the 22. Second game of the weekend played against Hawke's Bay and Counties Manukau. Now, Hawke's Bay haven't had the greatest of starts to the season to date. Have really been struggling. They struggled here against Counties, going down 20-48. And not a very close game, obviously high scoring, but the Counties just absolutely running over Hawke's Bay, who I don't think have won a game this season yet. I think they're 0-3 in the first 3 rounds, which is never good. Auckland, they obviously picked up a big loss in round 1, but since then they have come back fairly strong. They had a big win last week. They've had another big win this week, taking on the Southland Stags down in Invercargill, I believe. And again, big win. They're starting to, I guess, flex their muscles a little bit. That's a poor bit of defending. I don't know who that was. But Auckland running out the winners there 57-16. So they're really doing, I guess, what Canterbury did to them in week 1 to some of these other teams now. They are starting to flex, I guess, their muscles. They're probably one of the power provinces, I guess you would say, in New Zealand rugby. But you know, hasn't been obviously as strong as they have been in previous years. Next game was Tasman taking on Taranaki. Now I think Tasman, before this game they were 0-2 as well. Lost to Canterbury last week, and I believe they lost their first round game as well. I'm not 100% sure on that one. What are we doing? It's worked well. The pass, the cutout pass, I'm not too sure. But Tasman getting up against the Naki. The Naki have had a pretty good start to the season too. I think they were possibly unbeaten going into this game. But Tasman getting up 25-20 in a very close game up in Nelson. I think that's played at Trafalgar Square from memory, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. So we need to be careful here. The Blues probably are going to be in for their first try of the evening. Cheeky. Absolutely cheeky. Puts on the wee little sidestep and basically fools two defenders. The Blues get on the board for the first time tonight, but it could be too little too late for them as a great bust from Iahaya West down at the middle of the field. Next game, Wellington taking on North Harbour. Now this is a game that I actually caught some of the highlights of. I wouldn't say a boring game, but Wellington kicked 7 penalties. Their first 5-8 kicking 7 penalties, so all of their points. Harbour only the 17. And they were not able to get up. The next game was played Saturday night. Northland playing their second game of the weekend, taking on Canterbury. Canterbury very strong, unbeaten to this stage at the present. They did get there in the end with a little bit of a scare. Northland are one of those teams that over recent seasons haven't really been super strong. They've been, I guess you would consider, easy beats. I'm not sure if they won a game last season. I think there was a stat somewhere that someone said that I think possibly this was their 15th game in a row that they had lost. But they were looking good. They are looking good. A lot of people saying they should possibly drop down to the next division below the ITM Cup. I don't think that's the case. I think they are good enough. They are going to get some wins on the board this season. And a very valiant effort they put up against a strong Canterbury side. This was an absolutely entertaining game to watch. Watched it when I was at dinner. And just basically tries and points galore. 52-34 to Canterbury in that favour. Next we go to the Bay of Plenty taking on Otago. Remember, Otago 3-0 heading into this game. And this is the first time that they did look possibly like their unbeaten record was going to be disturbed. Not the case. They got up there in a very, very close one. 32-33 to Otago in that game against Bay of Plenty. So a very close one. And then the final game of the weekend played between the Naki. What am I saying? Not the Naki. The Mooloos. Waikato and Manawatu. I believe this was a Ranfurly Shield challenge as well. I believe Waikato are still holding on to their log of wood. They got up 19-10. Not the most entertaining game in the world, but still a win for Waikato. The Ranfurly Shield stays in Waikato. And that's something I probably will discuss next episode, is just how the Ranfurly Shield works as well, because a lot of people who I guess don't follow New Zealand rugby won't be 100% sure on its concept and how it all works. But that is another week of Mitre 10 Cup that has been wrapped up. Another week of the Super Rugby that's been wrapped up by the Crusaders, getting a win against arch nemesis, the Blues, 21-7. We'll definitely take that. Move on to next week. Canterbury, top of the premiership at the moment. Otago, top of the championship. Both teams unbeaten. Canterbury 3-0. Otago 4-0 after 3 rounds of the Mitre 10 Cup. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to leave a like. If you are new, please do subscribe. Make sure you check out my Facebook and Twitter. Links to that can be found down below in the description. Hope you're having a good week so far. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. I've got more Don Bradman batting career coming your guys' way. Make sure you do not miss that.